3.
Six.
Is that a 9 or 6? I think it's a
6.
Oh, it's a 6? Okay. And 1.
So we have 3, 6, 1. Let's see. Let's read the oracle. Far from any danger. That's good.
I'll take that.
Hey, oh, yeah. It's the money in me. It's the money in me. Yeah. I see honest in me. I see honest in me. Yeah. It's the honest in me. It's the honest in me. Yeah. Bitch, yeah. It's the money in me. It's the money in me. Hello everyone, welcome in to another episode of AlwaysChanceIt, brought to you by Real Chances Studio Network. And today we have Xhosha, a photographer, film director from New York, from Brooklyn, New York. Xhosha, can you introduce yourself, man? Tell the people a little bit about yourself, where you're from.
Yeah. I'm Xhosha. Currently live in Brooklyn, New York. Born in Atlanta. Grew up in Florida for the most part. Moved out here after school, and just been working since then. Been working all year since the pandemic hit. Still trying to do as much creativity as I can. Just yeah, that's pretty much what I'm on right now. Just trying to produce as much as I can, and working on as many projects as I can. So going to the new year with a lot of momentum.
Okay. So Xhosha, we'll start the show off with a little bit of a spin, man. I kind of want this interview, the direction of this interview is just I want you to dive in, man, and kind of give us some insight on what it's like to be a creator, the mindset of a creator, the thought process behind every little piece that you do, man, and your judgment, just all of that. So the first question I want to ask you, man, is if I told you 10 years ago that you would be here today, what would you have told?
Let me see, 10 years ago, high school for sure. I think I believe it, just because I pretty much knew at a young age that I was always in a creative kind of sphere. Like 10 years ago, I was taking like graphic design classes in high school. So I've always like been, even though I was like playing sports mainly, I always knew that I was interested like in the arts. Always been into movies, always been into taking photos, that kind of thing. But it was never a thing where I would say never a thing where I thought I'd be doing it full time, where I am now. I was like at that age you think like you're gonna be doing like what you're doing at that moment forever. At that time I was like full-time basketball, so I was like maybe I'll be playing basketball in college, maybe I'll be playing basketball at a pro level or something like that. But I've always been into the arts, and I knew I didn't want to stay like in Florida that's where I went to high school. I knew I didn't want to stay in Florida, so maybe not in New York, but I probably could have told you that I was like I'm gonna be doing something creative.
I like that you said that you would have believed it, you would have believed that you was here. I like that, the confidence that you have as a creator. I feel that it's important for most creators to have confidence, not only in their art, but you know what I'm saying, just in their everyday life,
Yeah, definitely.
Definitely. So let's talk a little bit about, I know we talked a little bit on the phone before the interview, about how your style comes from the films that you watch.
Yeah.
So tell me your top 5 favorite films.
Top 5. Let me think. I'm gonna just say Wong Kar-wai has a movie called Chungking Express. It came out like in '94. I think I resonated with that movie a lot because I was born in '94, so I kind of have like connected to it just from that. But I think the way that movie just portrayed, where it's just like this beautiful story, that just like it's like a fairy tale in a way. So that's one of them, Chungking Express. I'm gonna say The Dark Knight. The Dark Knight's one of my favorite movies ever. That always comes to my mind whenever I think about movies. Let me think what else. I love Moonlight, Barry Jenkins' movie that came out 2016, I think it was, or 2015 around that time. Big fan of Moonlight. What else? Trying to think. I might have another movie. I just watched Tenet earlier this year, and that movie came to mind as well. The Christopher Nolan movie that came out this year during the pandemic. I saw it in Vegas actually, and that movie, I'm still mind blown from what happened in that movie, and it's like on my mind consistently. So I gotta throw that in there as well. Let me think. What else we got?
What's that for?
Yeah, it's 4. That's 4.
Okay.
I want to be really particular with this last one. Let me think. Who would I always just go to? I guess that'd be cliche, but I'm a huge fan of Reservoir Dogs by Tarantino. I feel like a Tarantino movie is always gonna feel like kind of cliche because it's like it's Tarantino. There's so many that come to mind, but those are like the first 5 that always like come to mind when I think about movies. I'm definitely missing a lot though. I'm definitely missing a whole bunch. But
now you know Tarantino the GOAT though, so
yeah. You can't go wrong with Tarantino. That's the thing about him.
yeah, definitely. All right, so you just named me five films, right?
Yeah.
All right, so we just talked about Tarantino being the GOAT. So let's say you got your dream cast. What's your dream cast you want to direct?
Ooh, I like that game. I like that question. Lakeith Stanfield's gonna be in there. I love Lakeith's work. He just seems like an interesting individual to work with.
Right.
I probably have him as my lead. Who else do you got in there? I love to work with Jeffrey Wright as well. He's in Westworld. I think he played Basquiat in a movie that came like in the 90s, something like that. Jeffrey Wright's also a dope actor. Giancarlo Esposito, Gus from Breaking Bad, that's who he played. Love his work. Probably Denzel Washington as well.
Oh, wow. Got it, Denzel in there.
Denzel's son is actually dope too. I love Denzel's son's work as well.
But what type of role would you have Denzel play?
I'd probably throw him into probably at this stage in his life, probably like a father role.
Father?
Yeah. Also love to work with Issa Rae as well.
Issa or Lisa?
Issa Rae.
Okay.
Lisa Rae would be cool too. But Issa Rae, yeah, Issa Rae. Issa Rae, I love everything that I might actually just collaborate with her. I probably have just write with her because I love her work as well. So
yeah. So let's add on to that, man. I know I said who would you want to direct? So who would you want to be alongside you, helping you write that dreams story?
That's easy. Donald Glover.
Donald Glover?
Yeah. That's the only one that comes to mind easily.
That's just you and Donald.
Me and Donald Glover, easily.
That's fire.
I love his vision is so unique. It's not it's never just a straightforward story. Have you seen Atlanta? His show Atlanta?
No.
He has a show called Atlanta. It's on FX.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's such a realistic tale of living in Atlanta and being in that music industry. But it's not just a straightforward music show. It's so much weird stuff happens and there's little tidbits that just happen. How did we get here? And I love that he always questions everything that's happening on camera.
Like the Michael Jackson episode.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's this could have easily been a straightforward, straightforward story, but he made it so unique where it stands out among the rest of the other TV shows on television. So yeah definitely done.
Right. So all right, man. So I know that I talked a little bit about your film, but I kind of skipped over the beginning of your film. So let's talk a little bit about your Florida Film School, UCS. Let's talk about your time there.
Yeah, UCF was a very interesting experience. It wasn't, because it's not a typical film school, and the thing about UCF was it's like the third or second biggest school in the country. It has its own zip code. That's how big the school is. So going there, I was kind of like thrown into like this entire city and just a bunch of different individuals. But the good thing about that is you're able to like find like your niche and find the people that you want to be around. And I started out going to school for graphic design, but it was a thing where it's gonna sound like super cocky, but it's like kind of too easy for me, cause like I could self-teach myself graphic design, like Photoshop at home. So it's like kind of need more of a challenge. So then I just switched my minor, which was film at the time, my major. And after I did that, it became a thing where it's like, wow, I actually truly enjoy this process of like making, writing, directing, watching films. And I think from that, it just kind of took off for me. And
so film wasn't your first desire, pretty much, or your first passion?
I wouldn't say it wasn't my first passion. I'd say more of a thing where it had to be uncovered. Like I feel like it was always there, because I doing like the graphic design school and the film school were like legit next door to each other. And it's basically like one and the same in a way, same kind of building. So it's like always there for me, but I think it wasn't until I started taking classes where like I'm actually making films for my minor classes that I was like, oh wow, I kind of want to do this like all the time, do this full time, just create stuff. Because I was always like creating stuff like outside of school, just like short films and like short videos, editing photos. So it was like always kind of there. But I think it took like taking a class to where like I actually made not a full feature film, but I made a short film to where it's like, all right, I could do this and I kind of want to do this. And then watching like films like Moonlight, I think I told you on the phone, was like a big reason that reading that script helped me like write scripts from that moment on. And that kind of like gave me inspiration to like really dive into becoming a writer as well. So.
Right. So, Xhosha, can you elaborate a little bit, man, on the process of creating a script, developing characters, and choosing the right person for roles?
Yeah. I think in terms of developing a script, first thing is like I'm a big story person, so I gotta have a story that makes sense. I need like the beginning, middle, and end. I need like the beginning, I need the ending, I need like a rising conflict, and I need to be resolved by the end of the film. So that's like the first thing I look for whenever I'm about to write. In terms of characters, I try to write characters as true to life as possible. So I use inspiration from like people like literally around me to like make my characters. Cause I think that's how you keep them like very grounded and very realistic. I like to write grounded stories. I don't like to write like fantasy, even though I'd love to do that one day. But kind of writing right now, I kind of like started writing. I like writing very grounded stories, stuff that could like happen like tomorrow, like stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I think in terms of like writing these characters, like I gotta be able to like jump into their shoes for the time being, and like really flesh these guys out, because I don't want to be like a character who's not fully developed. I want them to have like a full arc. So that's something I always look for. In terms of like finding the right cast and stuff like that, I think that comes kind of naturally. Like while you're writing, you're like, oh wow, this person would be great for this role. So I don't really think about specific actor or actress before I start writing. It kind of just happens naturally. By the time like I'm 40 pages in or so, I'm just like, this person would be perfect for this role. So yeah, the process is very, very, very meticulous and like very I break it down in like very small layers. I peel back each layer. By the time I'm done with peeling back those layers, I have a full entire script by then. So yeah, I just like to take it step by step and make sure I have like everything that I need, character-wise, setting-wise, story-wise, in order for me to start writing it.
Okay. So say it's somebody that sees this interview a week or two from now.
Yeah.
They take heed to everything you just said, for like from the T, like to the T. You know what I'm saying? Like every word you just said, they do exactly that.
Right.
And it doesn't work for them. My question to you, Xhosha, do you think you can learn to be a creative?
Um, I think everybody's like innately creative. I feel like we're all born creatives. I think you just have to figure out the best way to bring it out of you. I don't want to say like, I feel like any person on the street could just be a creative if like they take a pencil and like draw on the sidewalk or something like that. So I just think it takes like certain things that just like brings it out of you at a certain point. And it just kind of just comes with like being just a human being, I think. I think like one of the most important things is like knowing that everybody has like a different time for when they're gonna like realize what they're supposed to like do in life, if they're supposed to be creative or not. And I think it just comes at different times. So if someone from like a week from now sees this and says like they do everything I said and it doesn't work out for them, it might work out for them like a year from now. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I would never say like you can learn to be a creative. I kind of think it's just like you're just born a creative, and some people like go that route and like use those tools around the mediums to like tell their story, or they just go a different route. So yeah, I think just like from the things in life that we like run into on a day-to-day basis, it's kind of hard to be like I'm not a creative because you're just some way expressing like your life to the world. So I think just like in that act, you are just a creative in that respect.
I feel the same way, bro. Like life,
Yeah.
and in general, every day you're creative.
Yeah.
Every day you do something. Every day you wake up, you create another day of life. Another breath. So.
Right.
But speaking of being a creator, all of us as creators, we have influences. So I'm gonna name 3 names to you right now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna go down the list and tell me what these names mean to you.
Right.
Barry Jenkins.
Visionary. Everything he does is just like extremely just beautiful in the way it's told. Like he makes like tragedy look like a beautiful thing because there's like a light in the tunnel. So that's like definitely how I feel about him.
Kobe Bryant.
Childhood hero, adult life hero. My favorite, like not only my favorite athletes of all time, but like my favorite people of all time, truly. And I looked up to him like as a kid, like playing basketball. And I looked up to him like as a creator because like he just retired and became like an Oscar-winning writer. So it was like he embodied like what it means to just be like really be the best version of yourself. And that's like kind of something that I'm still like to this day taking with him. Like Kobe's been my background for like years now on my phone, and like waking up and seeing that every day is like just motivation. So yeah, he's definitely like forever gonna be one of my heroes.
Okay, I love Kobe too, bro. That's my favorite player of all time. So
no, yeah, definitely. That's my guy for sure. Forever.
Last but not least, Spike Lee.
Spike is an influence because of how real his stories are. Like he's not gonna like sell you short on like some fake story of what it means to like be black in like a certain neighborhood. Mm-hmm. You're gonna get the full experience. And I think as a creative, like as a black creative especially, that's something that you have to have because you can't tell like a half story of what it's like to be black in America. You gotta like tell the entire thing. And he does that every single movie he makes is like a real raw story. It's not like some I mean obviously like he has a Spike Lee effects and Spike Lee stories, but it's always about the same kind of structure of like a black story. A true black story. And I'm always gonna appreciate Spike Lee for that.
Definitely. Cause I know in the beginning of the interview, I mentioned how I wanted you to dive in, man, and give other creators out there a little insight.
Yeah.
So I want you to give the creators some insight, man. Let's see how important it is to be comfortable.
Right.
But it's 2 parts to this that I want you to dive into.
Yeah.
First, I want you to tell us the equipment that makes you the most comfortable. Like this camera, I know when I pick up this camera, it's a hit every time.
Yeah.
Or I know if maybe it's a malfunction or it's a hiccup in in the shoot or something, I know this camera. I always have my back type.
Yeah.
What camera, what lens, and everything make you most comfortable?
Well, I mean, the camera that I have like on me right now, this Olympus. This is like my baby for sure since day one. I've just felt comfortable with this camera because it gives me a light meter inside the camera, and it's very versatile. I can shoot at night, I can shoot in the daytime, and I just know like every time I go out and shoot, I kind of like know what I'm gonna get from it. It's not anything like surprising me. It's like, oh, this is new. I didn't know it did this. It was the same as that. Which is why I like shooting on film because it's very simplified, but it's very like intricate on how many details you gotta pay attention to. But I enjoy that aspect of shooting on film. But yeah, this camera, I have a medium format camera, Nehemiah, much bigger camera, but same kind of thing where it's like I know if I get on this setting, it's gonna come out how I want it to come out every single time. And also like the kind of film that you purchase is pretty important as well. I always shoot on, well I kind of varied a little bit, but my go-to film was shooting on Kodak Ultramax 400 for 35mm. Then for my medium format camera, it's usually like Portrait 400, Portrait 800. Which I also like know very well. They both pick up skin tones very good. So yeah, I think when it comes to like your equipment, try to keep it consistent, but also like try to like experiment with different stuff as well from time to time, just because it gives you that, it just keeps you on your toes. And I feel like as a creative, you gotta stay like on your toes. You don't want to get too comfortable with being like on the same kind of routine, because then you just kind of like just doing it just because at that point. But whenever like I switch up like the film I'm using, I like to experiment, just like try different things as well. So.
What about the subject? What subject matter that you shoot makes you the most comfortable?
Honestly, I don't think I have like a specific subject matter. I think what it comes down to is just like being comfortable with just the world around you. Like I don't have a problem like going up to like a random person on the street and like putting the camera in the face for a couple of seconds and snapping a picture. It's because like if that's what my eye caught at the time, that's just what my eye caught at the time. So yeah, I think just the world around me, just like being a creative, being a filmmaker, I kind of got creative and I kind of got comfortable with the world around me instead of just like finding specific things that I'm comfortable with. And that's definitely helped me like broaden my horizons in terms of just like what exactly my work is gonna look like. Because it's always gonna have the same kind of feeling, but it's always gonna come from like the eye, what catches my eye, but. It could be anything. It could be a chair across the room right now. It could really be anything that just catches my eye. So I think it's just getting comfortable with like just the world.
That makes a lot of sense, bro. Okay. And last but not least, I know in the beginning I said 2, but it's 3. It's 3. So we talked a lot about this on the phone. About just being comfortable with yourself and your art, and two key points that you pointed out was don't put pressure on yourself, and your style will find you. Right. Can you hone in on those two key points, man, and elaborate a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, in terms of like creating art, I feel there should never be like a true pressure into what you're doing. I mean, at the end of the day, it's like I don't think any single project that you do is gonna like make or break your career. So I never look at it where it's like, oh, I have so much pressure to like create great art, because you're obviously not gonna create like amazing stuff every single time you snap a photo, every single time you like press record on the camera. It's just not like realistic. So I think like allowing those mistakes, going to like the next thing you said, it kind of allows you to like find yourself as an artist, as much as to find like your style or your aesthetic. Just because like you make mistakes like, okay, I don't like doing this, I don't like doing that, but this did work out, and then next thing you know, it's like that's your entire style. So I think both go hand in hand, where not putting pressure on yourself to make great art allows you to find who you are in terms of like what your style is gonna be. So yeah, both go hand in hand together. When it comes to style, when I say like let it find you, I think what that really means is just you gotta just get out there and just do the work at a certain point. I know film like photographers who just like I don't really like know my style, blah blah blah, and they only have like a couple rolls of film that they show, or like a couple digital files that they shot. And so you just gotta like keep shooting until like something sticks, because eventually something's gonna stick. Like that's just how everything is in life. Like when you do something for a certain amount of time, it's eventually gonna end up working in your favor. You just practice at it. So yeah, that's what I mean by letting your style find yourself, letting it find you.
Okay. I have an interesting question for you.
Yeah.
What skills in photography have translated over to life?
I'd probably say patience. That's the first one that comes to mind. Shooting, especially shooting on film, you don't get your photos back right away. I have no clue what a picture's gonna look like when I first take it. Until I get developed. So I think like in that, it's like taking 36 photos and then like waiting a day or waiting hours to see like the final product has helped me just be more patient with just like life. And obviously living in New York is hard to be patient because New York is always moving. But I think shooting and film and being creative here kind of slowed down like the pace of New York. I don't feel like I'm always gotta be like on the go. I don't feel like I always had to be doing something like crazy productive. It allows me to like sit back and relax sometimes, just like be in those moments. And yeah, patience is definitely probably the main one that comes to mind. Yeah. Patience. Yeah.
That's a big one.
Yeah.
That's a big one. That's a big one. So, what new things are you working on, Coach? Like what can we expect?
Right now I got quite a few things. I'm doing a music video tomorrow. After that, I'm doing a short film next month. And that's gonna be fun as well. I'm doing a music video tomorrow for this artist, Nicolas. It's gonna be like a music video for him. It's on his last album. The short film is gonna be, my friend's doing a documentary called Relics. And what it is like capturing people in New York like in their element and just like following them around for a day and just watching them do their thing. And we got close with like this group of bikers, BMX bikers that do like crazy tricks. They get endorsements from a bunch of brands. And we got close with them, and now we're gonna do a short film, like a narrative film, just like their life. Like a real, just raw New York kind of film. It's gonna feel like an 80s film in a way. And then, so I got that coming up. Obviously I'm doing a lot of shoots. That's always like happening. And then I'm also working on a magazine to release it next year, another magazine. I did a zine earlier this year during like quarantine with a bunch of portraits that I took over the course of the summer. And it's just like very straightforward, just pictures, you know, a couple things in here and there in between. But this next one's gonna focus on like artists itself, and so it's gonna have like artist interviews and like talking to different people and like figuring out like what makes them who they are. So that's like my next big 3 projects that I'm working on right now. So yeah, very exciting stuff on the horizon.
So with those new endeavors ahead, reflecting back, what's some of your proudest moments as a creator so far to date?
Proudest moments. I'm probably gonna like miss some because like I don't think about them in the moment. It's always like way down the line where like I see everything that I've done from a certain standpoint. But I would say I've done some pretty big shoots this year. Like I just started, since pandemic, I just started like taking my photography like serious like as a full-time thing. And like I've done a shoot with like Reeboks already this year. So I probably say that's like my biggest like milestone moment this year. In terms of just like, is able to like see like where I'm at with everything. I did like I did a shoot with Mary Young. I got to shoot Karina Evans is a pretty big director. She's directed like music videos for Drake and stuff like that. So that's another cool moment this year for me as well. In terms of just like personal stuff, I definitely say like this year it's taught me just like, it's gonna come back to the patience thing, but it's taught me just like take each day at a time and like be really in the moment. And like living here in New York is like so hard to do because you're always trying to think about the next thing. But I think more than any other year in my life, like this year, just like personal growth has been like being in the moment and like really honing in like what's around you in the immediate time. So Let me say those.
Hell yeah. No, bro, it seems like you got a good head on your shoulders, man. You got a nice plan, and you got your feet wet. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you got the motivation behind your art. You know.
Yeah.
A lot of times, us as artists, we tend to look at the accolades or look at our accomplishments and then get discouraged.
Right.
But sometimes when you got those accolades already just in place, it makes a lot of things easier. It makes you look at it like, all right, well, maybe it's just something I got to be a little bit more detailed about that. That's not pushing me forward. It ain't the fact that I don't got it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, definitely.
So it take that whole doubt factor out of it.
Right.
So
I feel like a lot of people like go to social media, Instagram to like compare themselves to like other people around them, and I think that's like a huge like detriment to like your own creative growth. So I think I was saying, don't look at the people on Instagram for like, I mean, of course look at it for inspiration, but don't look at it as if it's like a competition between you and someone else who's like already at that level or something like that. So I feel like there's room for everybody to like truly like get into their own lane and like make something out of it.
Yeah. Well, does social media play a big part in your art?
I mean, it's just like a place where I can show my art. Like,
Okay.
I have my website, of course, but in terms of just like being able to get more eyes on it, I use Instagram as like the main source because like it's like the only place you can really show like your work really. But yeah. But I don't think it should ever be a thing where it's like you feel as if you have to like compete or compare yourself to other people because at some point like they're feeling the same way, they have to get to the point that they're at there. So yeah, that's what I was saying before.
Right. No, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
It's just another tool, It's just another networking tool. Just
right.
use it for that.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Now, plug your socials, bro. What's all the social medias that you have?
Instagram's like the only one I kind of use now. I have a Twitter, but I don't use it. My Instagram is Lemonade on Sundays. So
Okay.
yeah, follow me there. My website is my name, XhoshaFray-Chinn.com. So yeah, I try to keep my art in a single place. I don't want to be too many places. I gotta keep it a little bit rare. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. What's the meaning behind Lemonade on Sundays?
I think so. When I first came up with the name, it's kind of super just random. It's like legit Sunday night drinking lemonade. But the more I think about it, the more I was like, I need a new ad name. I was like, Lemonade on Sundays. And I think the more that I create, the more I think it makes sense to like where my kind of aesthetic is. Because when I think of Sundays, I think of like a really just chill, laid back day.
Yeah.
And like on chill, laid back days, like you want to sip lemonade. And I think like my art has like a very light feeling to it, like very nostalgic, light feeling. And I think it like correlates with just like drinking lemonade on Sundays. So that's kind of like where the name came from. That's kind of like where I see it is now too. So yeah.
So the universe did that one for you.
Yeah, exactly. It just like went hand in hand and ended up making complete sense by the time I started creating more. So.
Nah, that's tight, bro. Like your whole brand and the way you package everything is dope, man.
Yeah,
and it's
appreciate that.
It's inspiring to other photographers out there. I know for sure.
Right. No, I appreciate that. Thank you.
For sure, man. This is one of the questions we always ask here on Always Chance It. It's a very important question. Mm-hmm. What's something that you would tell a creator that's just getting started today?
Today, just getting started.
In any field.
Any field, okay. I was about to ask you that. In any field, if you're just a creative, I just think you gotta be able to like broaden your horizons. I think that's really important as a creative. Like not just seeing the world from like where you live or your neighborhood. Like truly, if you could travel, of course, not everybody can travel. If you could travel, get out there and travel. But even if you just like live in New York, like don't just like stay like in Brooklyn, like go to like different boroughs and like expand and like see how other people live and like see how the world is different in different places around you. And I think when doing that, you kind of just you see the world differently because like you see it as not just being like revolving around what's happening like in your immediate world. And I think as a creator, that's like a huge advantage to like see the world from just like different points of like different people's shoes and like really empathizing with just like the entire world and just seeing the world just from a different perspective really helps you as a creator. So I'd say just like first and foremost just like get out and do that. Just expand your horizons.
No, definitely, bro. That's important. Give yourself a chance, man. Give yourself a chance.
Yeah.
The more culture you soak up, the more influences you're around.
Right.
The different things your eyes see.
Yeah.
The better your art is, and I think that's something us as creators we don't really understand subconsciously, you know.
Right.
But for example, I went to Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
This last what was that? I think was that September, the end of September maybe.
Okay.
Some around that time, and it had been a minute, bro, since February.
Right.
And just subconsciously, like when I was out there, like I was writing.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, beats were sounding different to me, just like everything. And I get back to Vegas and like I get another pack of beats, and the ones that I'm picking are different. And then I stopped myself and realized I'm like, damn, I really like go off the, you know what I'm saying, the environment that I'm in, like that's like kind of what dictates my vibe in a way.
Yeah.
So I was picking more gritty like trap stuff, like when I was in the Chicago area, and then when I'm over here, I'm picking more sample type beats, you know, more stuff with strings and more melodic, you know, that type of stuff.
Yeah.
And that just dawned on me, man.
That's very interesting. But that's just like true. Like you really are like a product of your environment. Like no matter how long or short you're there for, it's like you just kind of feed off of that as a creator. So it makes complete sense.
Hell yeah, man. Nah, bro, I appreciate you, man. It was an honor, bro, to have you on. I know most people are, you know, not so willing to do something like this, you know, especially at your stature. Yeah. And you know, but I appreciate you, bro, for giving us the opportunity to extend our platform to you, and you extending your platform to us as well, man.
Definitely, yeah. No, this is fun. I enjoy this.
And just know you always have a home here with us for your art and any new things that you need, bro. When our page start picking up traction, you know, we'll always post and look out for you, you know what I'm saying?
Hell yeah.
And everybody, this is Xhosha Lemonade on Sunday. This is another episode of the Always Chance It, brought to you by Real Chances Studio Network. We have Nicolas in the background. Nicolas, say hello.
Hello.
Got the dice.
Nicolas in the background.
Woo!
So man, I appreciate everybody for tuning in. Xhosha's interview will be available via all podcast streaming platforms. And on YouTube, the visual will be available as well. Tune in every Sunday, guys, to Always Chance It. And we appreciate everybody again, and we really devote ourselves to bringing you guys great content, great dialogue with creators, and trying to give you guys insight and some inspiration to take along on y'all creative journeys. So once again, appreciate you guys and checking in and checking out.